They say democracy dies in darkness. So why is a government that won one of the biggest mandates in Australian history trying to dim the lights on freedom of information? Here's the story. Since the early 80s, Australians have been able to request documents held by the government. These could be documents that contain information about you, or help determine policy or decision making. But here's the secret. What usually happens with these is you'll spend your time putting your request together, and then you'll wait a month or maybe longer, and then they'll either tell you, "Not today, mate," or they'll send you something that looks like the JFK files. But now the government is proposing some changes, like charging people between $30 and $50, which is what already happens with state and territory requests. But they also want to make it that if an information request takes workers more than 40 hours, like a whole work week, to gather it, the people in charge can just say, "Nope, too hard, we're not doing that." And they also want to be able to exclude some documents from being included in FOIs. So what's happening here? The Australian public hand Labor a record majority, and what do they do with it? They start doing things that could arguably make it harder to hold them accountable. The government has justified the change in laws. The Attorney General said the government spent more than 1 million hours processing FOI requests in 2023-24. It's over 100 years, by the way. Adding that the reason for the change in laws is to try and combat the large volumes of requests that are vague, anonymous, and done just for the sake of it, rather than genuine need. Which is good and all, but think about the side effects of these changes. Like, charging for FOIs isn't completely out of the question, and, they should have to commit to standards, but if you start charging a fee, shouldn't the service improve? Because, when it comes to FOIs, you have to word them just right, as there's no emphasis standard put on them to do a quality or timely job. Clearly, they don't want millions of members of the public freely sending in FOIAs, but could these changes just mean the government's looking for a way to limit embarrassing scandals by making it harder for journalists and citizens to find out what their elected representatives are doing? I mean, nothing says transparent democracy like freedom of information with a cover charge.